Okay, this is a short presentation of some of the projects that ASHRAE is working right now, and this is information that we would like us for you to take to your chapter. The first one is that ASHRAE developed a green building standard. This was done in conjunction with the IDS and USB GBC. It was written in code language, so the idea is that it can be adopted as part of the building codes. Also, they came to an agreement with the ICC and the International Green Conservation Code that they're going to come out soon. Our standard is part of that code, so it's one of the prescriptive paths you can take to comply with the International Green Conservation Code. Okay, we have this other program called the Building EQ. You have a question? Yes.
Is the International Green Conservation Code part of the ICC family?
Sí, yes. It's part of the family codes that ICC does. You know that the ICC does, the International Building Code, Building Code, which is another part of the family. The Building EQ, this is a program that started a couple of years ago. It's in the pilot part of the process right now. In this, what we're doing is that we're evaluating the energy consumption of buildings on the design stage, and then 18 months later, we make the same study, but on the operational phase. And the idea is to let owners know where they are in terms of energy consumption. And it's very simple because, at least, I don't know if this applies to Argentina and Brazil, but at least in Puerto Rico we use the same scale when you are in grade school and high school. And in college you have A+ is very good, excellent, A is good, A- is good, B is good to C, well, you are an average person. Then you have a D and a F. So F is that you are not very good. So over 2010 we are doing a rating pilot. We have identified 7 buildings. The program should be in full swing by early 2011. We celebrated this year our 35th anniversary of the standard ASHRAE 90.1. They have over 14 face-to-face meetings, 5 webinars since fall 2009. They have 5 subcommittees with over 150 conference calls. You know, we're investing many man hours to the development and continuing maintenance of this standard. They had to process 118 addenda, which were, of those 70 were approved by March 15. They expect that the latest version, the 2010 version, to be approved in the fall of this year. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Remember that we talked about before that Chapter Technology Transfer Committee on the society levels report to Members Council? Well, there's another council that is called the Technology Council. And they manage the special projects that involve energy efficiency, the guides, the advanced energy guides, stuff like that, the indoor air quality, and the performance protocol. They have a special project with a budget of $1.5 million. What they try to do is, this is a grant they got from the federal government in terms of indoor air quality. Let's go to the next slide. Under Technology Council, you'll find the Refrigeration Committee. the Research Administration, and the Environmental Health Committee. Let's go to the next slide. Right now, they developed this new standard 100. They currently support the TACs, the technical committees, and they also supervise the development and maintenance of the standards, which our biggest ones are 189.1, 90.1, 62.1, and 62.2. You know about this, the advanced energy guides? Have you used them? Very good. These are prescriptive path documents that you follow the recipe that you're shown for your weather area, and you'll get at least 30% improvement in energy efficiency compared to ASHRAE 90.1 1999. We should put you about the ASHRAE 2007 standard, 90.1 2007 standard. It was funded by DOE. The good thing is that all these books in the electronic form are free for download. You can download them for free on the ASHRAE website. So you can have copy of this for your references for free. If you want the hard copy, you have to buy it from the bookstore. But if you only need the electronic copy, you just download. Okay? Right now, the DOE has approved going to the next step is to jump from 30% to 50%. Okay? Before we go to the next slide, we have 5 different advanced energy guides. One is for the small lodgings, highway lodging, schools, small hospitals, small warehouses, offices, and
stores. Stores, supermarkets.
Small stores. Small store commercial facilities. So
Retail facilities.
yeah, retail facility. Let's go to the next slide. We already talked about Technology Council. Well, now we're going to talk about the Publication Education Council. They are in charge of the bookstore. They're responsible for keeping the handbooks online. They do the e-learning offerings. So they're in charge of all the books, all the magazines. That's their responsibility. Us, we are under Members Council. We supervise the services we give to our 52,000 members. Okay, the responsibility is to continue to grow membership. We have been able to continue to grow in developing economic countries. We have 3 new sections. This year we have 3 new chapters, 4 sections, and 13 new student branches. That's good news. This is government affairs. That's one of your responsibilities as CTTC chair. This is what the Washington office works every day. They go visit congressmen and tell them information that we have to help them do laws to continue to get more energy efficiency and go toward net zero. Let's go to the next slide. And that's it. Let's go quickly to this last slide of today, which are about the Chapter Technology Transfer Committee Awards Program. Okay. These are the programs the awards that the committee promotes. The first 4 are owned by our committee. The last 2 are owned by the refrigeration committee, but we are responsible to promote those awards to our members. So even though we don't evaluate them or we give the award for them, we are responsible for marketing them. Okay, let's go to the next slide. I will leave John to explain how the chapter program star award works.
Yeah, when we have lots of ways that we try to recognize people for a good job, and this is one of them for the chapter, the program star award, and that's a nomination that is made by me through Ricardo, and it goes into headquarters, and then they make a selection out of however many. There's one award which is given. Okay, so we just get to throw our hat in the ring and see how far it goes.
I would like to add on that. Whoever's wins best program share in CRC is the person that we nominate. But you need to fill out paperwork to get being able to compete for this award. Your chances are very high because we get between 3 and 4 applications. So you have one in a 3-shot or one in a 4-shot. So that's good.
If you have high PAOE in this category, your chances are very good getting the star award.
If you do great programs, I assure you, you will win that.
So we'll take, we'll send, if we decide to nominate you, we'll send you paperwork which you have to fill out. There's a deadline for that to get back. And then it has to be processed at the regional level and get to headquarters and all their schedules on that. And if you get to that point, we'll be submitting the information for you to fill out and get back to me and move forward on. Another slide on this? Or is it
I would like to add on that Rich King last year was nominated for the Star Award. He didn't win, but he got the chance. He was one of 3 candidates, so he got a good shot of winning, but sometimes you cannot win everything, right? But we need he submitted us the paperwork, so that's the key. If you submit the paperwork, you got a good chance to win.
When I was in programs, I actually was also runner-up for the Star Award, and I got so close, I didn't get it, but they gave me a, I guess, runner-up star plaque for it.
Yes. Here's the information which you don't have to worry about until we get nominated. Then they'll bug you about it so we can stay on the schedule. But this gives you an idea how the thing works. Okay. Is there another one? Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next awards, which is the technology awards. Our purpose is to bring innovative designs made by our members and recognize them. And we want to share that innovation to the world and to other members. What we do is we highlight the technological achievements done by our members. Let's go back a minute. Okay, I read something wrong. Sorry. Okay. We already had the regional competition for last year. We got 3 submissions that won, that we presented yesterday. I'm not sure that we'll be able to submit for September 1st this year. What I would recommend is that they spend this year developing the paperwork to submit for next year. Even though you wanted the regional this year, it doesn't mean that you cannot submit it 2 or 3 years later. Okay? The key is that you won the first prize in the region. If you won the first prize in the regional competition, you are eligible to complete on the society competition. And I'll explain why, because Rich King won a regional award yesterday, and I'll explain why it may get difficult for him to submit it by September 1st of this year. And that's why I'm recommending him to do it for September 1st of next year. This gets evaluated by a committee, a subcommittee that is part of members of the Chapter Technology Transfer Committee, Society Committee, and then they get approved in the winter meeting. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay. These are the categories we have right now. Commercial buildings, new and existing. These are 2 categories. Institutional buildings, new and existing. So we have 2 more. So you have institutional building new and institutional building existing. There are 2 different categories. Healthcare facilities, new and existing. Industrial facilities, new and existing. Public assembly facilities, new and existing. Residential buildings, single family and multi-family, and alternative or renewable energy use. Please be aware that in the past year, we changed some of these categories. So what I would suggest is that even though we are showing these categories right now, go to the resource manual, because the resource manual is the latest information about the technology awards. Let's go to the next slide. How this works is that you as a chapter do a chapter level competition. You get design engineers, contractors, owners, vendors to submit projects. Remember, this is for ASHRAE members, so make sure that the project has an ASHRAE member as an entrant. And this award is for the person, it's not for the project, okay? This is a personal award. You do the chapter competition, you use the short form, you do a judging panel, you select the best projects for each category, and the first place winner, you submit them for the regional competition with the same short form. Me as an RBC, we do the evaluation, we get a judging panel, we revise them, and then we give awards on the regional level. The first place winners are those that go to the society competition, and we decided that they can be ties, okay? If they go to a judging panel, they have the same points, both are winners, and both can go to a society competition. These deadlines are determined by me, so you'll get emails during the year telling you, okay, you have to submit these projects for this. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, society competition, all the information you need to fill out the forms is www.ashrae.org Technology Awards. We have the short form for the chapter and regional competitions, and we have the long form for the society competition. Also, in this, as I said before, you must be an ASHRAE member or member of an associated society. So if you're not ASHRAE, if they submit you a project and that project didn't have an ASHRAE member involved, you cannot submit it. Okay. Okay. Be sure that it has at least 1 year in operation. Okay. And I'll explain that later why. And the deadline will be September 1st. Okay. You submit it to me, and then I'll submit it to headquarters. This is the reason why you may not win a society technology award. You are required to submit 1 year's operational data. Sometimes, if you don't have that data available because the owner doesn't want to share it with you, they may accept a model, okay? You cannot use the short form for the society competition. You may say that you comply with this standard, but when they check the paperwork, you don't demonstrate that you comply with the standard. And the key in this is that you are required to show that the project complies with standard 62.1, standard 90.1, and with standard 55. If they see that your project did not comply with those standards, they don't see it.
But you have a refrigeration project.
No, but Ted will talk about those.
But you can apply the refrigeration for technology award or not?
I think you can.
Yeah, I think you can do
So, but you have to complain with 62 or 55 because
but you know.
maybe you have to complain with 15 maybe much.
Yeah, but the idea is that you show that you comply with ASHRAE standards. Okay, so that's very important. It may be possible that if you submit a chiller plant, maybe 62.1 is not a big of a deal, but standard 15 is. So you need to show that you're complying with standard 15. Okay. Ventilation rates do not meet ASHRAE standards. That's what we were talking about. No payback figures. You're saying, okay, I'm X amount energy efficient, but how that money gonna pay for the extra money I pay for the extra work or extra equipment I put to be more efficient. No indoor air quality discussion or occupant in relation to occupant comfort or discomfort. You may reclaim an innovation, but really it's just typical design. Maybe the presentation doesn't comply with the submittal guidelines, and you forget to mention maintenance and operations. The good thing about the Technology Award webpage is that there are examples of the short form and the long form. So you don't go blind, you don't start writing and thinking, well, if they want this or they want that. They have examples that you can take and say, oh, this is how I need to write this. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, this is great for marketing, because if you submit a project and you win, you get published on the ASHRAE Journal. That's a big deal. If you are a consulting engineer trying to promote yourself, maybe your consulting firm just work in your local area and you're planning to expand to other parts of the country, having a project in ASHRAE Journal sure will help you get new clients. Let's go to the next slide. Now we're going to talk about Government Activity Award. The idea is stimulate participation of ASHRAE chapters in the local government. So to the next slide. The regional competition, that's determined. I need the winner this year, the last year. Best CTTC, best government first year was Jeff Ross. He needs to fill a form that I'll need to submit before September 30th, so his chapter may be considered for this award. The selection is done in the winter meeting, and the award is given to the winner at the annual meeting. Let's go to the next slide. The last award we gave went to the Mississippi chapter of Region 7. The difference between this award and the other award I'm talking about is that this award goes to the chapter. It's not for a person. So the government affairs chair It's not going to win, it's the chapter. And let me tell you something, it is possible to win this. Puerto Rico has won it twice in the past 5 years. So if you do a good job, you can get this. Let's go to the next slide. The Dan Mills is the award for the best chapter technology transfer share. And the idea is to give this award to the best share who has exceeded or the goals that we put to our shares. Let's go to the next slide. The person that we nominate is the person that wins as best CTTC share. He needs to submit me the paperwork so I can submit it to society and we can enter the competition. And it's the same thing. They only, out of 14 regions, we get about 3 submissions. So if he submits the paper to me, he'll have 1 in 3 chances to win. Let's go to the next slide. And now I will leave you with Ted Hansen, he will be discussing the awards related to refrigeration.
All right. I don't have very many slides in here, so mine's going to be quite quick. Milton Garland Award is a society level award, and it is decided by the refrigeration of the society. And I'm pleased to announce that Brazil has got a submission in as of yesterday because she got her information. Her name is Selena Bacalar. Is that the right?
Selena Bacalar.
Bacalar. Okay. And the deadline is November 1st, but she got it in now. It used to be September 1st like everything else, but now it's November 1st. So for this year, we already have a submission to the Milton Garland for our region. Anybody else submits by November 1st will be competing with Selena. So what I recommend is if you have a Milton Garland recipient in your chapter, please submit it for next year. And right after November, go ahead and get the paperwork in so we can get started. It's very particular about, I've gone through, I think, about 4 or 5 iterations with Selena just in the past month. And it's 4 little steps, but they're very particular because if you go, anything is what I was telling her, if you go jog a little bit from there, then you won't be considered because you get dinged if you're beyond 10 pages. You get dinged if you go more than 2 pages on the one item. So it's very particular. It's kind of like when you do an RFQ and they're saying no more than 35 pages in this submission or you're considered non-compliant and you'll be thrown out. So that's the way it is for the Milton Garland Award. And Milton Garland is a non-comfort cooling. So that could be a brewery, it could be an ice rink, it could be anything that deals with non-air conditioning. Okay, so Milton Garland, if you submit that, please do it after November 1st, after, and then we'll work on it for the next year. Also, I'd like to see that this is a history of Milton W. Garland. He already passed away about 2 or 3 years ago, and he really was a very large high society in the refrigeration industry.
And he was about 100 years old.
Yeah, he was about 100 years old, so he really had a lot to contribute. The new deadline in not September 1st is now November 1st for the Milton Garland, and it will be presented the award in the winter annual meeting. So I myself have won it 3 times. So they have changed the criteria each time, and it gets a little bit tougher and tougher. But now it is non-comfort cooling. The other one, at society level, is the comfort cooling. That's air conditioning. That's anything, a chiller plant, anything that you want to submit on. That's like the easiest one to submit, and we can never get anyone to submit in our region for just a simple comfort cooling. And DX systems, chiller systems. You got a nice, big, huge chiller system?
I have a volunteer.
You have a volunteer?
He has a project.
You do? All right, so please submit it. You can either submit by November 1st. For this year, I have nobody that submitted yet. And if we do, we can go for the following year. Remember, there's only one winner per year. So we don't want to cancel somebody out in our own region because we got like 5 submissions from several people. Let's span it out each year. So if I have one for this year, we may, for first come, first serve, we'll do the next one for the following year and submit that. But it's just like everything else, like Ricardo's been saying, you go to the website, this is all the rules on the Milton Garland. They have the same thing on comfort cooling, exact same. They'll tell you exactly what they want, how many pages, how much the indent is. I mean, they're very particular. Double space, everything.
Excuse me, do they have examples
No,
of submissions?
no, they do not. They do not. But they do say,
Bring to our committee so the liaison can talk with them.
right. Now I have Selena's here. I'll tell you what, that's a good idea. Just to kind of give you an idea so you guys know, I have the very beginnings of her report. 2 seconds here.
While he's looking for that, one of the sessions that we're supposed to have in this room is on the website. There are people here that came for that. That's not the right answer. Would you like to hear a little bit of what he's got to say anyway, or not? Yeah, we would. We're on. We'll figure it out.
Okay, and who here is who's going to be on refrigeration? All right, so this is just nothing but programs people, right? All right, I recommend everyone in your chapter have a refrigeration person. Y'all's better be Selena. Because there's more to come than what I'm about to say. But you have to have a refrigeration person, you should have a TIGA person, and you should have a web person. Every chapter should have all these individuals on there because you guys can't be doing everything. One person cannot be doing the role of 4 or 5 people. All right, there's a lot to do in each of these categories to get these. I mean, it'll take you forever to try to find a Milton Garland recipient in your ward, in your area. So I recommend having just that person. I also recommend if you have one individual that's been on refrigeration and hasn't done anything with it, go to somebody else. Don't hang on to that person because they're not doing well for you. Okay, this is Selena's. This is her first submission, okay? You see how she's got a double spaced? She talks about who the designer is. It's indented a certain way on both ends. That's exactly how they tell you to do it. She actually, her first round went to 10 pages, okay, which is good. However, then she assigned her 10th page is text, where they wanted the last 2 pages to be pictures and diagrams. All right? So as you see these diagrams, just right off the bat, can you see anything wrong? We've already talked about this, so that's why I'm really emphasizing. Do you see anything wrong with these 2 pages right here?
Yes.
What is it?
Yeah,
Commercialism. No commercialism. She's already fixed that. This is her first submission. Okay? Commercialism here and commercialism here. All right? They did a great product. They did a great job with this the thing. But Johnson Controls was the designer. They're mentioned in the very beginning. That's all that needs to be said. They are the designer. They are in here as listed one time, just like Ricardo said. You say it once, and then that's it. John said it. You say it once in the beginning, but don't just keep repeating it, showing on every slide. All right? Selena also then sent these attachments with it, and now it's gone. These are all gone, but as you can see, advertisement here and an advertisement here. But this actually went lengthy, so if I had submitted all of this paperwork, they would have just said, no, she doesn't comply, and then they'd gone to the next recipient, she would not have won. So we've gone through all these iterations. These are all gone, and she has now got a great product. She's gone and scaled down all her pictures. She actually got pictures on it. She's really done a great job. It's a really good product. So that's how you do the format for both Milton Garland and the Comfort Cooling. Again, the Comfort Cooling is on November 1st, and it will be presented at the winter meeting. And then, hold on, let me go back. I got a couple more things I'd like to mention. There's one other award done by the society, and that's called the George Briley Award. That is the journal award. If your refrigeration chair puts in an article in your, what is that called? The newsletter every month. Send us the newsletter, okay? Has to be a refrigeration. Don't talk about, I'm just going to use my name. Don't talk about KPI Engineering did a design for a church for DM. That's not the article we're looking for. We want to see about if you do hot gas bypass with hot gas reheat, that's refrigeration. That's the kind of article we want to see and hear and talk about. Talk about things that people could learn by in these articles. That's what's going to win the George Briley Award. Okay, that's not going to say so-and-so did this and this is the project it was done. Don't do that. Talk about refrigeration. Talk about refrigeration cycle in a ice rink or in a food processing or brewery. That's what's going to win those articles. And when we get those articles, then we will, if you're a recipient to win that award, and I see that article, because I'm going to read each one of yours, I will then say, let's submit on it. But it can't be, we're not going to get anything for this, because that award is, deadline is September 1st. We're not going to make it. We're not even going to have our first meeting then. So it'll go by for next year, all right? Now, with that being said, I gave you the 3 society awards. There's going to be 4 regional awards by refrigeration. One is, you heard last night, Best Refrigeration Chapter, okay? The Cryo Award, which is I'm trying to get back from Central Florida, because it was sent over there. Oswaldo didn't know to grab that and to assign anybody, so we'll have a skip in the date. But there'll be the Cryo Award. Then there's the Best Refrigeration Article that I get, and that'll be an award there. And then whoever achieves maximum par. So you programs people cannot submit on the refrigeration. If you don't have a refrigeration chair, that chair is supposed to be putting all of his PAOEs under the refrigeration. Okay? Programs, you can get the points, but you're not going to get this one because you have to have a refrigeration chair to get that award. So just to know that, I'll just give you an idea. Brazil is definitely going to have a refrigeration chair. Okay? So they're actually in a running for all 4 of these awards. Okay? And to achieve maximum points, Selena puts those in, and you get them because there's deadlines each one. Also, communication. I know these 2 have said it many a time. You can't say it enough. Communication is so important. If you guys do not talk to all 3 of us, just put us in your group-wise or your Outlook, whatever you're going to use. Put us in a grouping and then send it to all, just put all three of us in your grouping. So whatever you're doing, you're sending to all three of us. So we are communicating, because we'll talk, okay? But if he
Put
gets
us on
in,
the contact list, we don't want to go to the spam folder.
right, exactly, yeah, put it, exactly, in a contact list. But just keep in communication and send us your newsletters and send us all the things. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know all the things you're doing so we can keep tabs of that. I have, in my Outlook, I have a whole section right there that everything I get from ASHRAE for refrigeration is going to go right in that pocket. So then I'll know exactly how many people have sent me whenever I come at the end, because I'm not going to remember September or October that somebody sent me this. I'm going to read it, I'm going to put it over there, and I'm going to mark it on this other list that I'm going to keep tabs of. Then I'm going to go back and see how many people communicated with me and who communicated with me. That's the most important, okay? That's what we need, is communication. And then I would also talk about, if you're doing PAOE, if you're following your PAOE, a lot of people think, oh, PAOE, that's just points, but I don't need to do it. If you follow it, then you're doing all the right things, because it tells you exactly what to do. Right.
I would recommend you to use the POE table as a base for your MBOs.
Exactly.
It tells the idea of that's called the Presidential Award of
Excellence.
Excellence. And this is done by the president of the society. This is what he wants us to promote in the chapters. That's why she says, if you do this, you earn this X amount of points, because she wants to promote that activity.
Right. So then you're doing the right things. You're always, if you follow that, you're doing the right things. And it'll just come second nature.
So you can take that information and put it on your MBO, and you'll know what to do.
Right. Now, if I were you, all programs, this is for John's benefit, all programs people, if you go back and you look at who was your highest attendance, who was that chair that got your highest attendance, and then look at that number and try to beat that number. If you beat that number, you're going to win all these awards. I can guarantee you, if you aim to beat that number, because the whole key is, and I hate to say this, but the whole key is you want to get those butts in those seats. That's the key to programs. All right, is the best program out there is what everybody wants to come and see. All right, so you look at the number, then you got to think, how do I beat that number? I got to have a fantastic program that everybody wants to hear. That's what gets everybody in the seats, and then that's what's going to get you the year awards. So, I'm done.
Let me take this is the last slide. The forms are available on the ASHRAE website, CTTC page. Question, doubts, you have 3 regional vice chairs that can help you with whatever you need. We also have a resource, Rosie Douglas, on our ASHRAE headquarters. She's a great lady, she can help us a lot. Questions, doubts, now's the time, because we have taken like 3 minutes from each instance. There's no questions. Important. There are some deadlines that the POE has that you must meet. The first one, you have to submit your program plan to John. I think you'll have to double check this one. Probably it should be in September or something.
It should be in by the 1st of October.
1st of October?
The MBO?
No, you say the NDO?
The program
Yeah, they have to be done by the 1st of October in order to get the
POE. The same thing is for the MBO. I think the MBO goes up to October 30th. So be aware that you have to submit those to earn those points. Also, go to the ASHRAE website, check the POE list, make your MBO. Be aware there are some rules in regards to POE. Just because POE says that you get 25 points for each article that you publish on the newsletter doesn't mean that you're gonna prepare 100 article newsletter, because the resource manual tells you that it's limited to 2 articles per month in the newsletter. So that's what we used to call the golden rule in the Chapter Technology Transfer Committee. So there are rules that not necessarily are on the POE table. You need to go to the resource manual and make sure that you're following the rules. Okay? If you have any questions on POE, you have any questions on your MBO, if you have any questions of the resource manual, please write us. That's what we're here for. So also, the good thing is that Rich King will be our new webmaster, and we'll make sure to try to get him those videos. So if you have any doubts, you say, well, ASHRAE say something, I don't remember what he told me about the distinguished lecturer. You'll probably be able to go back and see these videos on our website. That's why we recorded both video and a separate audio too. So maybe you don't want to see me. Well, you have the audio only version too. So if there are no any question, we are adjourned.
Wait,
I
want to emphasize one thing. We've been talking about the MBO and Ricardo. That's your plan of how you're going to do your year. I would suggest if you don't have it done by the 1st of September, you're going to be late. You really need to be working on it right now. And now you're saying to yourself, how am I going to get my job done? And then, by the way, it's tough too, but it's more important for you than for anything else. Please think about that as your tool. It's not, a hammer over your head. This is an opportunity.
And remember, you don't have infinite resources. You may see the list and say, wow, this is a lot of work. You may need to prioritize which things you want to do and which ones you say, well, maybe we shouldn't do. So that's the importance of the MBO. You're planning what you are going to do. Okay?
Also on the PAOE, since nobody here has a refrigeration here at the CRC, there was a slot there that if you brought that your refrigeration chair, so you guys, even though your programs, you cannot use that. You do not get that 50 points. So it had to be a refrigeration chair here to get that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you guys have a great year. We'll be watching you. So do a great.
Now, Rich,
we expect great things from you. So don't disappoint us. We'll be watching you. Okay. Thanks.
Now, Rich is
Rich's turn.